Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about Power Rangers Turbo, Cassie's best friend. So I was looking for a Cassie solo episode, and I've already talked about two really good Cassie episodes from In Space and Lost Galaxy. And since I've already covered those, I'm like, okay, I need another one. But I didn't want to do In Space again. I wanted to do Turbo because I never talk about Turbo. But I'm like, she only really has two solo episodes. I was gonna do the band one with the whole music, sounds of confusion or whatever. But there's not really so much a Cassie center episode where she's taking the reins and whooping a lot of butt. It's mostly just her auditioning people and singing and playing musical instruments for like a short time, and then everybody else does their thing. And so, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go with that episode, even though I do like her singing. And so then I'm all like, oh wait, there's another one. But I'm like, oh no, not that one. It's just a weird episode because a dog turns into a human. But there's a lot of Cassie in this. And also in the music one, she's being very her typical rude, blunt self. Which is funny because I forgot Cassie is actually the very first rude, jerkish Power Ranger. She's very, very truthful when she talks to people and very blunt, and she says what's on her mind, even if it hurts somebody's feelings, and she hurt somebody's feelings in that singing episode. I completely forgot about that, but other than being blunt and rude, she's actually really sweet and nice. And one of the things I really like about her is the sound of her voice. It's very soft, it's very gentle, it's very soft spoken, similar to that of Cat. And then she is Cat's predecessor and everything, because Cat handpicked her to be the new like pink Turbo Ranger. And because of her bravery and stuff like that, because Cassie is very brave. Now, she is played by Patricia Lee. And Patricia Lee was actually supposed to take over for Kendricks in Lost Galaxy. However, just like with everybody else who leaves Power Rangers, it had to do with money. Well, that or they get in trouble. But this time it had to be money. See, Power Ranger stars are paid nickels and dimes. And whenever somebody gets stars, they're basically paid pennies and stuff. That's the best way to describe it because they won't tell nobody exactly how much they make. Well, when she was going to take over as the new Pink Ranger for Lost Galaxy, even though she was going to be a main star on the show, they was going to give her the guest role payment. And well, you can't survive off that. So even though she formed a morph sequence that's never been leaked online and a few scenes that never been leaked online, she said adios. And so, but in this episode, it's really interesting. Turbo in Space is very fascinating. The personalities that they have in Turbo never translate on over to In Space. Basically, they're brand new characters in Space. In Turbo, she has a dog named Jetson, and she loves this dog to death. They play all the time, and she just loves them, right? But then in Space, you never hear about him no more. In fact, you never hear about him no more, even in Turbo. In fact, when they went into In Space, what did their parents say about that? Like, hey, you've been missing for half a year. Where you been? And everything. I wish they would have done something like that, but they never did. So anyways, a monster shows up, and this is one of the lamest monsters I've ever seen. I hate Turbo to death. Turbo was like a sitcom. The monsters were the worst. They're silly, they're goofy. I can't stand it. So anyways, this monster talks, his mouth does not move. He has a tube of toothpaste, and when he shoots it at somebody, they turn into a different animal. And so he's trying to shoot the Rangers and this and that as they're trying to like fight him, but they like word him off and everything. And then so at some point, her dog in this episode goes missing. and she's like really upset, and she's looking for him because he helped out when she was trying to like fight the monster solo and stuff. And the monster actually hit him with the toothpaste, and the doll turned into a human. Now, when he turned into a human, he knows how to read, he knows how to put on clothes because he's butt naked, and he knows how to do other stuff. You just have to go with it. I mean, it's a kid show, for crying out loud. It doesn't explain how a dog can know how to do that, but hey, you gotta roll with the punches, you know what I'm saying? And so she's really upset, and she's putting up flyers and this and that. Bulk and Skull in this episode, which I always felt kind of weird that they hanging out with like teenagers now that they're adults. And so like, because it suggested that they graduated sometime in Zeo, which makes no sense because the actual Power Rangers didn't graduate until Turbo, and Bulk and Skull are not smart. And so, like, they're trying to help her, but they find the wrong doll. Well, in a way, there's a dude named Jeffro or something like that. And it's, of course, it's the dog, and she doesn't recognize him because he's human. Thank God this is not one of those type of episodes where they fall in love with each other. I hate that. But they do form a bond, like a friendship bond. And, you know, he starts telling her what he likes to do, what he likes to eat, and this and that. It's almost to the point where they're almost on a date, but they're mostly just hanging out as friends as he's trying to help her. So when he talks to the other dog, you know, they get him back to the owner, and then all of a sudden he realizes he's starting to transform back into a dog. I guess the spell doesn't last that long. So he has to say his goodbyes to her, and she's really upset because she's kind of like, you know, you're like my best friend. I just met you and stuff. And because she's the type of person, even though she's blunt and sometimes rude, she's very friendly to people and stuff like that. So, of course, it comes the monster again. The Rangers, you know, they morphed and everything. And so, like, you know, they're fighting the monster. At some point in time, he grows big. At this time, Elgar has his Megazord. And so they call on the Rescue Zords. They call on the Blue Centurion, which is the last time we see his Zord and everything. And so, you know, they're all fighting each other and this and that. And of course, you know, they save the day. And so, like, I forget what it was at some point. I think when before the monster went big, the dog came back and attacked the monster. So, of course, she's all happy about that. And so, like, you know, when she's talking to her friends, she's thinking about the dude she met. And she's all like, man, he was so nice, and he was this, and he was that. And then she's kind of like, wait a minute. Starting to realize, could he have been her dog? I mean, she knows that monster has the ability to change a person's, like, you know, species and stuff. But all in all, like I said before, this was a pretty cool episode. We get to see Cassie morph. We get to see her befriend somebody. We get to see her soft side. She took on the monster head on, and that was really cool. And, you know, it was like, it's not the best Cassie episode, but it's a nice little fun episode, you know. Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.